The PlayStation Store is running a bunch of sales right now in this time where we're all at home. Maybe you're looking for a new game to play. Well, there's a bunch that you can get really cheap right now. And in this video, I want to specifically highlight the under $15 sale. However, I'm just going to be looking at games under the price of $5. So if you say bought a $50 or $20 PlayStation Store card, maybe you have a couple bucks left over, these games would definitely fit the bill as some quality titles to pick up. And they're just super cheap games, so even if you want to buy them outright, they are very good buys. Without further ado, let's get right into it, and I want to kick things off with Titan Souls, a game that was published by Devolver Digital. It is 75% off for $3.74. Now, this is a game that definitely has an old school art style, and it is a very challenging game as well. Some will throw comparisons to games like the Souls franchises, although obviously from an aesthetic standpoint, it is very much different. However, it has that same kind of replay, conquer, and then start a new level, conquer that, so on and so forth, and the gameplay loop is pretty entertaining. Is it a perfect game? No, however, I really did enjoy it. The game notes: between our world and the world beyond lie the Titan Souls, the spiritual source and sum of all living things, now scattered amongst the ruins and guarded by the idle Titans charged with their care. A solitary hero armed with but a single arrow is once again assembling shards of the Titan Soul in a quest for truth and power. Again, at the full $14.99 price point, maybe it had a few shortcomings that didn't make it worth that price point. However, it does offer a decent bit of content, and for $3.74, I think it's a really good buy right now if you're looking for something a little bit more on the challenging side. Also requires a little bit of creativity and thinking into how you beat the bosses and things of that nature, so it works out rather well. Next up, we have Nidhogg II, 75% off for $3.74. If you're looking for a game that is just absolutely enjoyable in terms of its chaos, then Nidhogg is the kind of game you definitely want to check out. Sequel to the indie hit of 2014, Nidhogg II builds upon the award-winning gameplay of its predecessor with new weapons to wield and levels to master, head-to-toe character customization, and the captivatingly grotesque art of Toby Dixon. And with music from artists including Muxmuel, Geotic, and so much more, Nidhogg II has a soundtrack so good that even the menu screens are awesome, or so it notes. Now again, this is a game that's very enjoyable with a couple of friends. If you're playing the multiplayer on it, it is just a blast to play, and it's very enjoyable. You can do AI 1v1 battles, but really you're gonna get the most enjoyment out of this when you do play with a friend and you guys are just going back and forth having a good time. Definitely a game to have good over a couple of drinks and things of that nature. A lot of fun and offers a lot of chaotic moments. $3.74 for it I think is a really good pickup, so definitely do check that out. Here's another game for laughs with friends. Magicka II is a game that holds a special place in my heart because I remember having so much fun with friends during playing this game, because you can do friendly fire, and the friendly fire is so chaotic that it just makes it such a fun-filled experience. In the next chapter, Magicka players ascend from the ruins to experience Midgard almost wiped free of wizards after the wizard wars, with the few that do remain having either gone mad or extremely hostile towards all others. To rid the world of evil, again, up to 4 wizards and their guide Vlad will traverse Midgard armed with the next iteration of the famous Magicka dynamic spellcasting system, as players reprise their roles as the most overpowered, unpredictably funny wizards ever known to fantasy. Now, while you might look at that story and think of a really serious story, do expect something a little bit more charming and a little bit more zany and fun out of Magicka II. It's a game that I wouldn't be taking all too seriously. You jump in with a couple of buddies, you wreck some havoc, and you have a lot of fun along the way. $3.74 is a great pickup, and I would recommend picking this up with a couple of buddies. Next up, here's a game that I always seem to go to bat for, and it is Ubisoft-published Child of Light. It is 70% off for $4.49. This is a very enjoyable coming-of-age RPG that doesn't necessarily reinvent the wheel in any incredible way. However, it does have a very emotional and moving story. Along with that, it has a unique battle system as well, and all that come together to create a very engaging RPG. Now, is it a complete standout? I wouldn't go that far. However, for the price, given that it was $15 initially, and now for south of $5 at $4.49, I think it is a great buy. It takes you on the journey of Aurora, a young girl struggling to save a lost kingdom and her ailing father, so you can already see that there is going to be a level of emotion and maybe tear-felt moments that are going to be present in the game. There is a free demo available if you'd like to check that out. However, for $4.49, I think the game is worth a buy just outright, so give that a look. Next up, here's a game that I feel like deserves a little bit more attention just because of what it means to gaming, and that is Dear Esther Landmark Edition. Now, I'm not going to say that this is the most compelling game from a gameplay standpoint that I've ever seen. However, Dear Esther was one of those those games that when it released on PC, it was one of those titles that really did open up gaming from a narrative experience and light on the actual dialogue and things of that nature and leaving you to your own devices. Look, a game like Journey I think is more powerful than Dear Esther, but I think Dear Esther offers a lot of enjoyment as well. It immerses you in a stunningly realized world, a remote and desolate island somewhere in the Outer Hebrides. As you step forward, a voice begins to read fragments of a letter, Dear Esther, and so begins her journey through one of the most original first-person games of recent years. Abandoning traditional gameplay for a pure story-driven experience, Dear Esther fuses its beautiful environments with a breathtaking soundtrack to tell a powerful story of loss, love, loss, guilt, and redemption. So just know that going into this, even more so than a game like Walking Dead, the Telltale series, this is very, very much light on the gameplay, but that story is thought-provoking, it is a little bit moving, and again, it was one of those games that really showed to me personally that we can have these very narrative-driven games that completely abandon gameplay and just focus on being, quote-unquote, a walking simulator, but I thought Dear Esther was enjoyable, and at $3.49, I do think it's worth a look. Next up, here's another franchise that I seemingly always go to bat for. Banner Saga 1, 80% off for $4.99. Now, this is a franchise that I often talk about. Is an RPG series where I am unsure on why it's not a little bit more popular. Now, obviously, it saw a level of success that did warrant a Banner Saga 2 and a Banner Saga 3, and ultimately you can buy a Banner Saga Trilogy for $20, and I would recommend that. However, if you're looking to save some money and you're still unsure about picking it up, at least give Banner Saga 1 a shot for $4.99 because it is an awesome experience. It's got some beautiful art direction, it's got a great setting, that Viking theme is something that I think resonates with a lot of people, and it's a very enjoyable tactical RPG with great gameplay. Again, it's a game that I don't understand why, because it has all of the elements of a great RPG, and it's presented so well that I thought it would see a little bit higher of a level of success, but whatever the case may be, it's a game that I'll continue to go to bat for, and I highly recommend you to check out this game because it's a great RPG. Different stylization, however, very good in its own right. Next up, we have Guacamelee II, 75% off for $4.99. Look, the Metroidvania market is a crowded market right now. You've got games like Dead Cells, you've got games like Hollow Knight, you've got so many great Metroidvania titles. However, Guacamelee 2 does offer you something a little bit different with its charming and zany style. You play as Luchador Juan, and he is out of retirement for a stunning new Metroidvania-style adventure. Explore a huge handcrafted world inspired by Mexican culture and folklore, filled with sassy new villains and weirdos, and a few old friends. You'll learn bone-crushing wrestling moves to fend off skeletal hordes and overcome skillful platforming challenges. And who said anything about a chicken Illuminati? That is also might be in the game. Drop in 4-player local co-op for you and your best amigos, and it's a very enjoyable game. Look, you don't even have to be a fan of like Luchador or really get a lot of the references. However, if you do, I feel like you're gonna doubly enjoy this game. It's a great Metroidvania, it offers a lot of fun, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and for $4.99, I think it's a great buy. Alright, next up, you want something a little bit more bloody and visceral? Hotline Miami would be up your alley, 75% off for just $2.49. Now, Hotline Miami is one of the more iconic indie games ever released or downloadable titles. It's a high-octane action game overflowing with raw brutality, hard-boiled gunplay, and skull-crushing close combat set in an alternative 1989 Miami. You'll assume the role of a mysterious anti-hero on a murderous rampage against the shady underworld at the behest of voices on your answering machine. Soon you'll find yourself struggling to get a grip of what is going on and why you're prone to these acts of violence. Again, for $2.49, I think it's a great pickup right now, and it's one of those games that if you haven't checked out Hotline Miami, you're doing yourself a disservice. However, I should also mention Hotline Miami 2 is discounted. I believe it's at $3.49, so if you just want to jump right into that game, that is also an option. I think that game is better than the first, but I think the first is still very much worth playing, and it is a little bit cheaper. Next up, we have another game that I try to give some attention to. Bandai Namco's Little Nightmares is down to $4.99. This is a very interesting platformer, being more of a horror platformer. Immerse yourself in Little Nightmares, a dark, whimsical tale that will confront you with your childhood fears. Help 6 escape the maw, a vast, mysterious vessel inhabited by corrupted souls looking for their next meal. As you go through the game on your journey, explore the most disturbing dollhouse, offering a prison to escape from and a playground full of secrets to discover. Reconnect with your inner child to unleash your imagination and find the way out. For $4.99, I think it's a pretty good buy right now. It was already a good buy when it initially came out, but do check it out. There's a free demo available for this one as well, so I thought I'd give that a mention. And lastly, another great multiplayer title, Payday 2 Crime Wave Edition, is 75% off for $4.99. Now, ideally, this game is best played on PC. However, the PlayStation 4 version is good enough where I still wanted to give it a mention. A 4-player co-op shooter where you rob banks and get paid. The Crime Wave Edition includes an enhanced graphic engine for consoles. Up to 4 friends cooperate on the hits, and as the crew progresses, the jobs become bigger, better, and more rewarding. It's a game that's rather engaging with a good bit of replayability and you can jump back into it with friends, but obviously bear in mind, this is a game that you do want to play with friends. You're not buying this game solo, you're buying it with a group of people to play with. Get on voice chat and have a great time with Payday 2 Crime Wave Edition. It's definitely worthwhile. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, a plethora of great deals are available on the PlayStation Store right now. These are all under $5 and all of them are worth picking up. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.